Hi, welcome to Tolu's Corner, a lifestyle podcast. This is the final episode of season 1 of my podcast. In the last episode, before you become a parent, the non-parental version, we had a conversation on parenting. Like I promised, that we're going to have real parents and on the show for a parental version to sample their own opinions as well and extract life experiences of what real parenting looks like. Okay, I'll be taking a break from podcasting for a while. It's not something to be worried about. Yeah, because from my last episode I got a lot of comments. Why are you leaving? What's up? The thing is, my episode will be clocking a year. My podcasting experience will be clocking a year next month. I released my first episode, Scars Are Beautiful, May 1st, 2021. And I've dropped, this will be my 10th episode, which is going to wrap up season 1. And in coming months, I'll be back for a brand spanking new episode season. And for the new season, I'll be having backstage success series where I'll be having chit chats with established dignitaries in the country that are making matter success behind the scene. Everybody wants to be in front of the camera, everybody wants to be front stage, in front of the lights, and that's most people's definition of success. That's where they as value they place on success, that you have to be upfront. There are people behind the scene that are still doing amazingly well. So I'll be interviewing a couple of those people to get the experiences on how they did it and why they did it. Then for the season 2, I'll be having a part 2 of Scars Are Beautiful based on a listener's request. But it's not going to be Scars Are Beautiful. I'll be renaming it as Scars Really Beautiful. Aska is really beautiful. Then we'll talk on mental health, talk about the woman and how she views the world and how the world views her. Let's not go into too much talk. Let's enjoy today's conversation. See you. Okay, I can't see you. I'll be joining you again in coming months. Enjoy. Welcome back. And in introduction, I had said that we're going to be discussing the topic before you become a parent. This is a lifestyle podcast dedicated to addressing life challenges of young adults. This whole episode is centered around telling young adults, picking challenges of young adults and providing solutions to them. And today we're going to talk about before you become a parent. What are the things you need to know before you become a parent? And with me today, I have young parents that we'll be discussing together to extract their experiences. So I would like us to introduce ourselves. Start from the youngest parents in the house, the Alabis.
Okay. Thank you, Tolu. We are happy for you to join you this afternoon. My name is Ademola. And I have here my wife, Odumade, Alabi.
Yeah, I told you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice having you here.
Thank you. And we also have Adesiri, our baby here. Is here with us.
Hi.
Saying hi.
Okay. So to our older couple in the house, Deacon, Odumade. Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Odumade is my name.
Okay.
I'm a daddy to the glory of God. And then my family are not here presently. They are busy with an engagement down there. And I'm blessed with two lovely boys. So
thank you for honoring my invitation, sir.
All right, my pleasure.
Okay, so before we get all serious and everything, we're about starting. So I want to know, firstly to Deacon Seyi, was there a time during this parenting phase that you thought that this whole thing was more than you bargained for, that it was not what you were expecting? Was there a time when you were having second thoughts, sir?
I don't think there's any time. I don't think there's any time like that. Though, what I just want to establish here, parenting, I would say to a large extent, it's hard. But the Lord has given us the grace to. There was a time where we newly have a baby. Okay. One night, the boy is feeling feverish, and everybody is awake. What do we do? What can we do? So we are worried. But to the glory of God, that phase also passed. And since then, I just believe God has actually has given us strength and given us wisdom on how to go about this. So I don't think there's any time. We are good.
Oh, that's good to know. So, Mr. Alabi, was there any time where you were having second thoughts that maybe we should have waited a while or something?
Well, there are times like that, but it is a little bit of peer pressure, not because of what we want, but it's like people are like, oh, you guys had a baby in record speed, you guys had a baby without waiting, you did not enjoy some of the things, but people only talk based on their own experiences, right? What we have done so far and we have understood is that we can actually create our own experiences. People always tell you their good and bad story and only tell you what they want you to know.
Yeah, what they want you to hear.
So for me, I think having a baby, whatever time you decide to start having children, is fine. And when you hear testimonies, the week that my wife delivered, in church, we had a guest pastor come preach to us, and the person shared with us that for 25 years they haven't had a baby, and this is a man of God. And how many years that we got married, we had a baby without issue. So I really think the experience is personal. I don't think there's one answer to it. But for me, I do not feel bad. I feel happy. I'm joyous that I had a baby when I had the baby. Thank you.
Good to know. So Uncle Seyi, sir, what do you think good parenting is all about? How exactly can one be a good parent? Because the main essence of this is to educate young adults on how parenting should look like. So what do you think good parenting should look like?
In no particular order.
Okay.
Go back into the word, the topic, one of the core word here, parenting.
Yeah.
Like I did say, or I understand that parenting is the act of bringing up and looking up after children or child.
Yes, sir.
So for me, one of the cardinal things I want to state here is that one is to love them. Love. And also, for me, you discipline when you need to discipline. Loving them doesn't stop me from disciplining them. You understand? Sure. And also being a parent, if there are things I've done that, in recent time, my children are still young. So, but sometimes when I do something, I say, Daddy, why? If I know that thing is bad, I quickly just say, I'm sorry. Also, I'm also teaching him to apologize when he's wrong on a particular thing. I wouldn't say because I'm a father, Who born you? Why dare you talk to me? Or why do you ask me? These children of these days, it's a jet age, and they are inquisitive. They want to know so many things. They ask questions. So when I do things that sometimes I don't do, so I said, okay, with those two words, I think some of those things I felt can be done to be a good parent, and teaching them the way they should go, showing them the way of the Lord.
Thank you, sir.
I hope I did answer your question, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. I want to hear Mrs. Alabi's voice. I want her to answer. What does?
I thought you wouldn't call me to answer questions.
I'm sorry.
Fine, I'll meet you.
Okay. So how can one be a good parent? What do you think good parenting is all about?
Yeah, I think there's no manual to this thing. Like, there isn't a manual to being a good parent. Like, the question you asked for about if there was any time we had a regret on being a parent, I would say I had a regret, but then I didn't bargain for this. We'll be a year in this marriage next week, and we got married. Okay, we got married February 2021, and barely a month after we were pregnant. Like, I would say to my friend, I fell pregnant. I wasn't, like, it wasn't in my book. We're saying like maybe 2 years, you enjoy marriage, you and your husband. When baby comes now, you don't have time and all that. So when we heard of people's stories and all of those, I had to rethink and was grateful afterward. So while I said, the reason I said there's no manual to this thing is, while growing up and during the teenage years and young adolescence and all, while me and my husband were courting, we were having so many discussions, and we're saying that we don't want to be the way our parents are. We don't want society that we we're in to determine the way we come around our marriage, our bringing up children and all. So there's no manual to it per se. It is how you feel it is good, you and your partner, because there is another saying that you don't do parenting alone. Like, you don't just say I'm scolding the child alone. You both should. Yeah, it's a two-way thing. You both should do about it, like how we are funding their schooling, how we talk to them, one of our discussions, I remember that we said we'd go with the culture of no locking of rooms. Like, you don't this is our house, and all of that. So we're even talking about one yesterday that we get devices for them and have a way of knowing what they do on the internet with the way the world has turned to now. The time they would sleep, the time they would, to our best of knowledge. Our parents were not able to give us the best. They did what they could. We are open to better parents, though we've not done this before. So by so doing, we read books, we learn from people. Like, I was discussing with a friend already. She's a senior colleague. That's what I called them. I'm like, please, you are 5 years in marriage and you have kids, like 3 kids already. Give me books. I want to read books. Give me advice. If you see me, I'm not doing this thing, just let me know. This is how things are done, and it's left to me to now know, okay, this is what I'm using, this is what I'm doing. So that's why I said there's no manual to these things. It's just how, and God helping us, Holy Spirit, with the help of Holy Spirit. We can't do this alone. I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but I think I've said my own part of the story. Alabi, conclude.
Yeah, so Tolu, I would like to take it from where Uncle Seyi stopped. I think that parenting is just like, your Christian journey and your journey of faith. There is no better way to teach your children than to live the lifestyle you want them to emulate, right? You shouldn't be the parent that say, do as I say, but don't do as I do. So that is something that Uncle Seyi said.
And these children, they are copycats. They imitate what you do.
Exactly. If your children are bullies and everything, possibly you are also bullying your wife or something at home, right? If you are calm, very encouraging, very courageous, obviously your children will also be very calm. Sometimes the devil throws trials at you through your children. why they don't emulate you and just become a total opposite of you. But at least when you are living that lifestyle that you want them to emulate, if and when you pray that God, this is how I live my life, this is the challenges I'm having, this is my children, they don't follow what I'm doing. When they have everything, they will look at the way my daddy is doing, look at the way my mommy is doing. So in order to be a good parent, you also have to be good children yourself.
In order to be a good parent, you have to be good children yourself.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm definitely writing that down. Okay. So the next question I have here.
Okay. Before you go into that other question,
okay, sir.
Just must also had this, like he rightly said, children, they copy so many things we do. Exactly. That was a day, one of those things, like, even when you are not there, they will do those things, just tell you like, this is how my dad used to watch his car. Yeah. This is how my dad used to do this one. This is how my dad used to talk. And they even say it to their friends. Also, like being a good parent, also one of those things that's an attribute of a good parent, it's something like you listen. You talk to them, you also listen to them. Because most of the major problem we are facing in current days is communication issue. The way they express themselves might be different from the way we express ourselves, or the way they express, the way we are brought up. Like in our own era, like our parents, most of our parents are, I want to say, maybe some of them are authoritarian. They are authoritative in nature. Hey, this is what I want, this is what I want. But in this time around, so many things have changed.
You negotiate.
A lot has changed. So you talk to them, you listen to them. More so by connecting. If you connect with them, you'll be able to know what exactly they are talking about. May the Lord help us.
Amen. So with the way this conversation is going, I have to skip my questions. So there's something that's coming up now, like from Mrs. Alabi to Deacon Seyi. We have been comparing our parenting of now to parenting of then. So let me start with Mrs. Alabi.
Okay.
Is there any parenting method that your parents used while growing up to train you that you would not try with your own kids?
Let me flash back. Let's say I wouldn't know. Okay. I'm still trying to reason. Okay, there's this one that I think it's a good one. Okay, let me start with the one I remember first. My mommy has a culture, and I think it has made me like where I am now. Till now, I still follow suit. She anywhere we go to, I don't know if it is, I think it's common with the African family thingy. Whenever anybody comes around or give us something, like maybe food or anything, she'll be like, don't eat it before I come. And it has so, like, anywhere I go to, even if you offer me anything, I'll be like, okay, thank you. I'm going to collect it. But even when I get home, I might not even remember to take it until my husband, they gave me this, so like I'm showing him. And I think that's what I would want my kids to do. Like whenever they go out or somebody come around and, tell your parents these things before doing or before eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way you answered the question, you've answered it. Okay. The question was actually.
Yeah, I can't. Now I can't remember some of the things I didn't want. But if I remember along the line, I would put it in.
Okay.
Okay.
If I would add, yeah. So my wife, I think that from the background and knowing my wife when I was courting her, and comparing parenting from our own family side to my own parents' style of parenting, there's a huge difference, right? Our parents are not entirely learned, but they have a very strong culture of parenting, which I really, really like. For me, I think my parents' culture of training us is not entirely bad, but they did things based on their own knowledge, on how best they think they could do it, right? And what they have done, the good and the bad, is what is rooting right now in my own family. So I look at the bad, I'm like, no, this one I'm not going to go with it. The good, I'm like, oh, this is a very good one to go with, right? And we have the agreement in my house, like this is what we want to do. And then You can use their own way of parenting, but like Uncle Seyi said, many things have changed. The children right now ask so many questions that you cannot just shut them up. Right? You have to answer. Then they just tell you what to do, and you just, no matter how free. Or let me tell you, an example is if in the former generation, when your mother has a fight with anybody in the church and she's angry, you're not going to that church again. Everybody in the family, you are changing church. No matter your position, no matter your friends in the church, you are changing church. But the culture is different now. The children, once they have friends, they tell you, even if you are relocating, but I'm leaving my friends. Why am I leaving my friends? Why? You have to tell them everything. You have to carry them along. Another way of parenting that I discussed with friends some months or years back was the fact that our parents back then didn't have good communication. So, for instance, your dad had a very bad day at work. Sometimes it happens. Even as we are growing up, we see those bad days in our place of work. And then they carry that energy home. That energy is what they used to use and slap you when you do something wrong. Not because they don't like you, but they have had a bad day. Right? Imagine now, this new generation, you come home, you tell your children, or you tell your wife, my wife, I am having a bad day. Let the children stay away from me. We discuss with you. Even before you leave the office, you have called your wife. Your wife already know what to do, how to manage the children. And then the former generation too, you tell them that they start to pay school fees. They will want to make you happy. They will tell you by Monday, you will see me in your school. And then Monday will come, you won't see daddy and mommy. Automatically, there are many things that happen. You start losing confidence in your parents.
Exactly.
You no longer believe them. But now, when you are very clear, let it be open. Daddy is working on this. Well, give daddy. I know that you're not going to be happy with this, but give daddy some time. The children now, they want to listen. They want to know what's up, so that expectation can be managed from every angle.
Very true.
From every end. True. So that they don't, because now the children that you lie to that, I'm coming to your school on Monday. You did that like 4 or 5 times, and the child keep believing in you. At some point, he or she will lose faith in you.
True. And
they will no longer believe you. You get, so I think that should be taken into. They didn't do so bad, the former generation, but they had communication problem. And then, if there's anything we should learn from them, is to learn those things that they were bad at and determine to be good at it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So Deacon Seyi, let me rephrase the question and give it to you. So, which parenting method or what things your parents did to, in training you while growing up that you would not do, and which one did they do that you would do, sir?
Okay, like one I could remember, my dad used to be was a very tough person. He's tough. Like I would say, the authoritarian method. When you say sit down, I don't want to know if you have any excuse or any other better reasons why you must stand up. You must just still obey first. You understand? That's these days. Though that is also one area if you look at it, for me, it's not the best. You understand? But it does help me at this point in time. It helped me. But for the children we are having these days, you understand? When you say sit down, like my own son would ask, Daddy, there's something that happened about some days ago. He was asking me questions. And then what I did, I used the carrot and stick method. You understand? Like then, when Daddy say, don't go and play ball. I love football then. I love to play football. I know one major problem that I do have with him then was I want to go and play ball. And he will tell you, Oga, even when you have finished your assignment, you see your peers playing football. You want to, what is this thing? They don't allow me even to enjoy myself. But, and some other things. But most times when he said that, he won't give me reasons. Even these days too, sometimes I won't give reasons. But like I said, I use the carrot and stick. I said, don't do these things. If you do it, I can't do. Then I explain reasons why you have violated my rules, and that is why you will be punished for that. You obey Daddy always. When Daddy says this, you obey. So I think that is one area. Now I'm a bit flexible You understand? Sometimes we'll talk. It's just 6 years old. We'll still talk. We'll talk about certain things. He will tell me his mind, but I already know what I want to do. You understand? So I think that's
it. Thank you, sir. So can parenting be planned? Is it when can parenting be planned? Is it when you get the baby you start planning parenting, or it starts way before you even think of having a baby? Mr. Alabi, sir.
Okay, I think my wife will agree on this with me, right? Just like anything, I think planning is very key, but the Bible says something that, we should draw our plans and then table it in front of God, so that, we can tell him. It's not like we should not plan, but tell God, okay, what are your plans? These are what I think I should go through, but let me know if this is best with you. How do you want me to work on the journey with you? Right? Just like marriages, just like anything, I think parenting can be planned. Nowadays, there is book for parenting, right? You can invest in those books and read about them nowadays, because now the parenting, the generation is really changing. We are young, we are quite young, but then we are also old to some friends, because some of the things we have done. A friend of mine would say, responsibility makes you older, not age. The more responsibility you get, the more matured you will be. And I agree with him, because there are some people that you talk to and they are not as even though they are older than you, they are not, because they don't have a lot of responsibility, they don't have much maturity like you. So I think parenting can be planned. However, you should not remove the place of God and prayer, because you can plan. You can say, okay, this is what I want my children to be. Right now, we have said many things about our baby boy, because it's growing so fast. We said he's going to learn swimming, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. But if we don't put all of those things in writing and planning, time will just go. Time will just go, and one day we'll be like, I've seen one I want to marry, and they'll be like, oh, where are all the times I want to spend with my children? Where did they go to? Right? And then if you're in a place like Lagos, whereby you go out very early in the morning, you come back really late, it might be difficult to even bond with them, but you have to plan it. You have to plan it, right? So I think it can be planned, but the place of God cannot also be underestimated. You have to put those two together. You're vacationing, plan it. You're going to school to visit them, when you don't even need to wait till they do open day. Plan it. The money for them that they're going to use, maybe trust fund, plan it, because things are not going to be easy. Planning is what you see and be like, and you have to be disciplined around your planning too. That no matter how it is, no matter how broke I can be, my children trust fund is my children trust fund. So you have to plan. You can plan it. Thank you.
You can plan. Thank you, sir. So do anybody else have any contribution to this?
Yes, also, I also told the line of Brother Ademola, looking at it, planning, parenting, like I say, even before the child is born, like you rightly talk about plan. From when the child is born, there are certain things we don't fight in the physical. About these children, we will have to take it from even before they, like for us, before they are born, we started praying for them. Because as Christians, we started praying for them, praying for their children, our born children, that this is what we want, this is this. I felt that's part of the planning. And then also talking about their life, about their growth and development. So many things that actually been put in plan, in a well-structured plan, what we want, how they go, the school we want them to go and all that. Because parenting these days, like Ademola actually said, it's difficult mostly for those of us in Lagos. Parenting is now harder because too many untrained children are now parents. So we have to be careful, because we need to give more attention to our children. If we give them attention, even when they get some training out there, they come back. We will now talk because if that's why I talk about the issue of communication. Communication is key. When we will talk to your children, when there's a strength teaching, they will bring it to the house and say, Daddy, so person did this in school, and so God will help us. Don't let me.
Okay, so we will go on a short break, a very short break now, and we'll be back. When we are back, we'll continue from where we stopped. You're welcome back. And I hope we're enjoying the session.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Okay. So the next question I want to ask Mrs. Alabi, Ma, before you became a parent, did you have a certain perspective about what parenting should look like? Like from afar, you are seeing parenting a certain way. Now that you're a parent, do you still maintain that perspective, or has it changed, or is it not what you were expecting?
Hello, Uncle Tolu. We are just 3 months into this thing, no? Anyways, their perspective, like my kid,
okay.
I want my kids to always be neat. Like, like yesterday, I went to the market. Was it market? No, in the morning I went to grind what's it called? Beans, and I saw a woman with a child. And the child looks at that. So there are two things. It's not as though, anyway, there might be things surrounding you. Probably they are not buoyant enough to take care of themselves. But the little you have, at least take care of your kids. They are representative of yourself. Wherever you can't go at a particular time, you can always send your kids there. And when they see your children, they should be able to say, Mr. Alabi, looking good and cute. I was telling my husband, if you can remember, some Sundays ago, like, look at this man's son. He looks so fine and handsome, a little child though. So I want my children to always be good looking at all times. And with God's provision, like, I don't want them to lack anything. I really don't want my kids to lack anything. So God helping us. You are putting in the work, we are putting in everything.
Okay. So, do anyone else have another answer to give us? Do you have a certain perspective about parenting, and has it changed, or you are still maintaining that perspective?
Yeah. From my own end, what I would like to add to it is, like most of us, we are just a replica of our parents. If you look at it to a large extent, if you see a child of a tout, that child directly or indirectly will have the traits or some characteristics of that tout. I hope you understand what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
So for me, one of those things that I cherish so much is good morals. Good morals is very key. Second to it is love for all. So with that, I want my children, when they see them, for people to say, yes, this child is from a good home. Most is a Christian child, to shine the light. So those are the things that is very key to me. And I'm still maintaining it because our parents are not that very, very, very educated. But then they set some principle. There are certain things you must not do. You don't no negotiation about it. You understand? So I just believe that God will help us. That for our children to take after us and to be good ambassador for Christ. Family, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so let me start, Uncle Seyi. With your experience, how best do you think a child should be corrected? Because this podcast is for young adults, and a lot of young adults are claiming to be woke and all those kind of things. That, I will not use cane for my child if I talk to them and this. So how best, with your experience, with what you've seen and experience, how best do you think a child should be corrected, sir?
Well, anytime the child does something bad, for me, in as much as he has done something contrarily, you correct him. And the way you correct him, like I have said, I use the carrot and stick methodology. You understand? The stick must not be always. Yeah. You understand? Even the Bible make us as far as that. Father, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. You understand? So as parents too, we need to be careful. I will not take the place of discipline. In as much as you have done something bad, I will probably, if it's need for me to scold you, I'll scold you. That is there. So I won't take that away. in as anytime they do something, I will always tell them. But the method at which, before the child has said, there's a Yoruba word that you understand? So you quickly need to put that check. You also know that this father will not accept this from me. You understand? So that is that.
Okay. So to the Alabis, I know your baby is still young, but is there a certain measure of discipline you wish to start enforcing when the baby is older?
Okay, so generally, and I'm saying this based on my own understanding of this question, there is a different way of training a child at every level, right? The method you adopt in January 2020 may be different from the method you adopt in January 2022 because of a few considerations. The first thing is the child age. The second thing would be the child, because at some point the child will start having some personal attributes. What is his attributes? What is his characteristics? What kind of aura does he carry? What kind of person is he becoming? Is he becoming like the wife, the mother, or the father? You get. So you have to have a different method for it. So I wouldn't want to misguide the listener by saying that, bring out the stick every time or have a conversation every time. There's a different method. You have to look at what method will work right now. And then if at any point in time you become confused, there is no shame in asking for help. Like you said, we are in the woke generation. We want to have discussion with our children. Until they embarrass you outside, we want to keep having this conversation. No problem, right? And sometimes that you will go beyond having conversation, right? But it is for you to determine. Now, you don't have to be stupid and saying, "Oh, it's just because he's young. It's just because with time it will change." Don't do that, right? The reason you are who you are today is because of your parents, what they have done to you. You think they almost killed you, but you didn't die. I'm not saying that you should keep on flogging your children. What I'm saying is, find the best method that works for you. You get my point? Find the best method that works for you. And when things become really confusing, get help. There are counselors out there. There are professionals out there. We are becoming we are almost becoming the West world, right? Look at what is in the news today. A young boy of 1 year old that was beaten in a school, and then the boy has died after days in hospital. And I told my wife that it is not as a result of the boy not knowing something. There's a frustration in the person that beats the child. It's something, an envy, an evil spirit, something of sort that must have made that person to flog a 1 year old child more than 30 times, for God's sake. You get my point? So there is a different method for everything. Find what works best for you. There are books out there. Invest in reading, because you cannot know everything. Like my wife said, we are new parents, but I was friends with my wife for many years before we got married. And I can tell you that during those years, it wasn't that we're just going to buy ice cream, going to eat pizza everywhere. We had a structural plan of what we wanted. We look at the community, and thank God we're in the same area. We're going to the same church. We look at the community, we look at people around, and we were just picking lessons. There was no bad family to us. Even if you are bad, you're not bad to us. We're just learning. Why are these people here? What did they do that led them to this place? Is it a good lifestyle? Should we couple them, or should we just say this is not the lifestyle we want? And God has been helping us to follow it. One of the first decisions we made about parenting and even our marriages, we relocated from a bad environment. Where we were before was a bad environment. When we left, we had 6 to 7 months rent left. It wasn't as a result of what it do or something. It was part of our planning that we cannot have a child here. You see what I'm saying? You cannot have a child here. So you have to make sure that everything is needed, because even if you are a good parent, you are saint, you are copying, emulating Jesus. If you have a child in a bad environment, it's as if you are
you struggle,
right? Because you're not going to be there every time. Get my point? So that is my answer to this. There's no one way to doing it. Plan, pray, get help when needed, and God will help us to build and raise a generation of good people.
Amen. I would like to add that there's no age to this thing. Even a month old, my husband can testify. I do tell my baby, if he's shouting or crying, I'll be like, you don't talk to mommy like that. You don't shout at mommy, as little as he is. And we can all testify to it that as old as we think we are, we still get scolded by our parents. We still get things from them. Like sometimes that they'll be like, oh, she dada say, things like that. You don't, even if you are claiming to be woke, like we've been saying, so there's no age to it every of the time. And also communication is key. When you have a good communication with your children, you'll be able to scold them at whenever they do something wrong. You'll be able to make them understand it, and they wouldn't see it from a place of hatred. Like they would know that my parents talk to me, we communicate, and this is what they want and this is not what they want. Yeah.
Thank you. So Uncle Seyi, this next question is for you because you are a more experienced parent and you are the oldest. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot going on in the world today. That is we're hearing news, we're hearing stories, and it's just painting most parents as bad and not vigilant or not observant. So the question is it possible, sir, for a parent to be both a parent and a friend to one's child? I'm asking this because looking at it today, with observations and everything, most children prefer to confine in an outsider with their problems or with stuff going around them than telling their parents. So is it possible to be a parent and a friend to your child, or is it a difficult job to merge together, sir?
Well, for me, it's good to be a parent and a friend. And then I felt there are steps towards this. You understand? Like in Lagos, we have so many absentee parents, the father and mother. You understand? But it's good we create out time for our children, because looking at Ademola actually mentioned something about the environment. Like, let me quickly cite an example of what happened within my domain. This case, it's well pronounced. You see children. I saw a young boy, the boy of about 13 years old or thereabouts. The boy is using iPhone, and he has some followers. One of these, I was at home, so I saw the young boy. I was now looking at the boy. Somebody now told me, that small boy, Yahoo, Lonche. That the boy is a Yahoo, but Yahoo, okay. This one, where is the mother? Where is the father? I saw the mother, the father is nowhere to be found. But even looking further to that child and looking deep into that house, I discovered even the mom, I can't even say that also, she also lacked some trainings, apology. But I felt like from my own point of view that she also had failed. You understand? So with this time that we need to create time to be friends to our children, spend quality time with them. With that, it will help us to checkmate so many things. A lot will be checked, because this day we say we want to make money. After making all the money, Shebi will come back home. But when we bring back to you, there's the children are not there. You understand what I'm talking about? So we have to create time. It really required us to take time to be friends to our children. With that, they will open up. Like that child, that particular boy in question will sit at home. The other boys will come to meet him before going to school. You understand? So I felt, to large extent, there are failures from certain quarters. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's failures from certain quarters that these people are not meeting up what they expected. So may God help us.
Amen. Mr.
Yes, please.
I want to answer. Say, is it? Do you think it's possible, or necessary for a parent to be both a parent and a friend to the child, or is it a difficult thing to do since you are going to work, you are hustling, like you might not really have time? Is it possible? Is it realistic?
It is very, very realistic. Like I said, it is very, very realistic, right? Uncle Seyi is a professional in his field, right? And at this point of his career, he can at some point dictate his time, right? When in the days of remote working, so he can say to his company, because Uncle Seyi, for example, probably already has proven his expertise in his line of work. Even as young as I am, I can also call the shots in my own small way because I have proven my expertise. But I can say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to be in the office on this day. I'm working remotely. I'm going to be available for this and this. And there are some days that I'll just tell my wife, for the next 3 days, I'll probably be coming home late because of the kind of work I'm doing. Right? Like I said earlier, planning is very key. So you can be a friend with your children. My baby is about to be 3 months. And some last weekend, they went away to our mom's place, that is my mother-in-law, and they were there for some days. And I went to pick them on Sunday. Immediately my baby saw me on Sunday, he started laughing. It's just 2 months plus. He started laughing. He started, was smiling because we normally play. Even though I don't understand what he says, I talk with him, so you can be friends with your baby at a level whereby the communication stops, at a level whereby they don't trust you anymore. That is when they when you talk, they will yield to you. They will pick their nose and be like, liar. That is when you have lost your trust. That is when you have promised things and you haven't come true. So you can be friends with your children. You are in a new generation, right, whereby you have to relearn relationship. I have to relearn relationship with my sisters. My junior sister, for instance, now I know that she's in university. The way she sees things is different. I'll tell her, when she posts things, I will try to, even when it doesn't concern me, I try to talk about it because I'm trying to make her believe and know that she can trust me with anything. When she posts some picture and be like, somebody said you are ugly, your brother is fine, I'll be like, you are the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Right? That is true. And I'm trying to build trust with her so that when there is problem, because most times, like Uncle Seyi said, look at what is happening in the news. Young people using devices, their parents have no question. Nowadays, parents even send children away that go and make money. What do you mean go and make money? When you have not taught me anything, you have not shown me the path, I don't even know what you do. It's a very sad environment right now with a lot of things that's happening. Especially I don't think it's even Nigeria alone. I think it's everywhere, right? You really need, if not now, there is no better time to say that our children need us. Our children need us now to know everything, right? Now, the last time when we had our baby, we had a lot of visitors and guests, and I noticed some visitors that are some people that are like university students, and I know very well how difficult their parents go to pay their school fees, and you have them using iPhone 12. Me that have been working, so I don't use iPhone 12. My iPhone is iPhone 11, right? And they are, the way they look, you are like, when we were in school that time, when we come back home, we are really lean. And then these guys are like, they don't even want to come home. And you, as a pastor or as something, you cannot even ask questions. What are you doing in school? How come, So, I think you can be friends with your children. And not even I think, you should be friends with you should be friends with your children. You should be friends with them. You have to know. It's not until you see a police picture, a police portrait somewhere and say, come on, me, before you start asking questions, ask them questions. Thank you. Sorry for talking so much.
Thank you, sir. I'm really, really enjoying this conversation. And if we go on, more and more questions will keep popping up. From our discussion today, I've learned that the best way to train a child is to love them, discipline them when necessary, listen, communicate clearly, have a clear communication with them. And discipline differs. The way you discipline them now might change later with age and other attributes.
True.
Find the method that works best for you and use it in training your children. So lastly, before I let you guys go, starting from Deacon Seyi, please, I want you to give a parental advice to young adults that are not yet parents. We are not parents now, but it's good to planning start now, having knowledge about these things so you know what to do when you become a parent. So give us a parental advice as young adults.
Well, I'll say parenting is a ministry. if you cannot win any soul for God, at least win your children for Him. That is one, because I don't want to take much of our time because there's something I actually want to say then. So I will just leave it as that. Because if we can, the Christianity will portray the life, the kind of life we live. If we cannot change our community, it doesn't worth it. May God help us.
Amen. Thank you, sir. The Alabis.
So number one, as we are a parenting advice that I will give, number one, you have to actually forgive your parents. A lot of people out there are carrying resentment to their parents. Yeah. You cannot train your children well if you hate your parents. Wow. Right? You cannot do that. So number one, forgive your parents. Number one, look at things through their eyes. Look at things through their eyes, right? To see why they did what they did and what can you do to be better. You get? Because whatever life throws at you, just pick a lesson from it. Just pick a lesson from it. So I think that is a very key point, because for many years also, I also did the same thing, right? But as time goes on, I begin to see things from different perspectives. They did things that they thought was best at that time. Now, when you are forgiving them is when you're going to have a clear mindset of your own. If you don't forgive them, you cannot even think about your own. So let's start with that. And I believe that as many people that will listen to this podcast, I'm sure they would understand what I just said. And like Uncle Seyi also said, if you can put your family, let your family be where the change will start. There's a lot of mess in the community. So start with your own family. If you can change your family to the right, then they can also, because there will be a multiplier effect. Your children will start changing people in school, and the rest. And thank you again for having us, Tolu. We are really happy.
Thank you, Uncle Seyi, Mr. Alabi. I'm very honored to have you guys on today's podcast. Thank you again, sir. And Ma.
Thank you for having us.
So I hope this session was enjoyable and you've learned one or two things.
Yes, we did.
Thank you for on today's podcast. Till next time, stay productive. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for having us. And